what they had to experience and triumph through in order to remain who they are. I think that's quite hard to do coming from the streets of Jamaica, making them, making something of themselves, staying very authentic to what they are rooted in.
So I'm really excited to speak to you. I'm a huge fan, saw the movie. Now, obviously, most people know Bob and Rita Marley and know Rita just as the wife, but Bob is obviously touted as an icon. But watching the movie, and if you do further research, you understand that she was his muse and a huge contribution to his success. But before the film, how much did you know about Rita's life outside of her contribution to Bob's legacy?
I didn't know enough, definitely. And my parents are Jamaican, and I thought that that would have just been something that I just know as a child. And it's unfortunate that I didn't know enough, but also it gave me a real opportunity to dive in, to really dive into who she is, what she meant, the pillar that she is, how powerful she is, and to really get hopefully a fresh perspective on who she is for the people that know her already into the movie, so that I can feel a little bit of responsibility for educating the world on her power.
And you did a great job at that. Obviously, we know now that her, along with her children, were instrumental in getting the biopic up and running. So, how much time, if any, did you get to spend with her during your process of filming? And what did you learn about their love story that you wanted to make sure you evoked onto the film?
I did get to spend time with Rita Marley. I went over to her house, which always sounds like, I just went to Rita Marley's house.
I
On
went
a
to her house. We had rum cake. Yes.
exactly, exactly. We actually had fried fish, rice and peas, I think, and something else, and sedella baked to
At
really
the
have.
work. Yes.
Yeah, exactly, the works. Um, uh, yeah, I was able to feel her energy, and I keep coming back to that because you I thought playing a real person, all you need is the research. Read the books, watch the YouTube videos, scour the internet. Ask people who knew them, maybe what they're like. That's all good for me if the person is on the earth. The thing that is going to throw away all of that research is actually harnessing their energy. And when I say throw away the research, I really meant it. The books, everything were all, I don't remember them. They're gone. This person is in front of me, basically teaching me who who she is and who she should be portrayed as. What are the standouts in her personality, in her history, in her love for Bob, and her love for her children and music and her spirituality. It was those things that really helped me harness this person that everyone's going to be educated on. And this is the first film about Bob Marley. So I wanted to ensure that everything that was threaded through the script was real and authentic and raw and had feeling, so that the audience can come away feeling like they know this person.
Now, there's one scene in the film where Rita and Bob have an argument about things that are going on in and out of their marriage. And I love it because she doesn't back down to him, and he even later apologizes for it. Now, I read that you feel as if the film does away with the entire strong Black woman trope. So, how would you say that the film humanized them as a couple?
Well, that strong Black woman trope is something that I have been on a very long journey to dismantle. And I think that playing Rita Marley was one of the biggest opportunities for me to take my experience on meeting her and seeing her as this like big, ethereal, incredible figure that is powerful and has a voice and has done so much for the world and, women and Jamaican culture, etc. She has a stillness and a sweetness in her that helped me really find this, the dichotomy between that kind of strength that we have inherently and that sweetness and that gentleness and the pureness and I guess also innocence at times that we can have at the same time. So with playing her, I felt as though even people on set were realizing things about her and about themselves. And I was realizing things about myself, to be able to balance the two at all times. And also to really educate people who come across you on a day-to-day basis that you're not a cast iron figure. It's really, really important for me to remind people of that, because as Black women in cinema, you're not often given the opportunity to delve into what that means, where strength comes from, how we develop it, what trauma does it come from, how do we challenge it, how are we challenged with it. There's just so much, there's so much scope to, it's like a playground actually, to be able to educate people in outside of our community who don't know. And sometimes that is an innocent not knowing, and sometimes it's intentional. So I just always want to make sure we're covering all bases. And this was just the perfect time. And telling that through a real story, cherry on top.
Now, I love that the film is kind of divided or centers on three parts of Bob's journey. Obviously, the peace concert and the unfortunate shooting of him and Rita, the creation of the Exodus album, and Bob and Rita's love story. How would you say that these three factors really showcase and add to, it educates at least Bob and Rita's legacy?
Well, I'd like to think that with what we managed to get into the movie, those different points gave, I guess, an overview of what they had to experience and triumph through in order to remain who they are. I think that's quite hard to do, coming from the streets of Jamaica, making something of themselves, staying very authentic to what they are rooted in, representing so much, taking on the responsibility. Like those are heavy things on someone's shoulders. It's really and it wasn't just them, actually. It was the whole band. It was everyone that's with them. It was their teams that helped to kind of harness this message that they had from really early on. As you can see in the movie, they had something that was undeniably special and almost ancestral. It felt like they'd gone back to something that they were trying to remind the world of, which is what we need today with everything that's going on in the world. We need constant reminders of that. But yeah, I think just everything that you said is just representative of people coming from not so good and creating something that is good, that hopefully will become the fabric of the earth, which is literally, I think, what they did. I hope that answers your question. I kind of went off on one.
No, it does. As you mentioned that you have Jamaican parents, and you felt like that would be kind of enough to have your wide scope of who Bob and Rita were. But once you learned more, were there any reservations or hesitations for you to execute this role? Were you afraid of it because they are such icons, and not just to, Jamaican culture, but they're globally, they're like their own biblical figures?
I did. I absolutely did. I did not want to take the role at the beginning. I didn't want to be responsible for misrepresenting my own culture, misrepresenting a legend, a woman that deserves all of the things. And that was before I even got into, the meat and bones of who she actually is and what she represents in the world. I expressed that to Reinaldo, our director, before I'd got an audition, before I read the script, before I even had an opportunity to, fully talk about the character and potentially playing her. I sat down with him one-on-one and I was like, has to be right. It just has to be right in so many ways. I don't know what to tell you. I have a whole culture, who are riding for this. This is the opportunity for Jamaica to be rewritten in so many different ways on the world stage. So I wanted to be a part of something that was going to fully do that and execute that in a way that made me proud to be a Jamaican and proud to come from the people that I come from. I didn't want her, and I keep saying I didn't want her to be reduced to this trope that we see women, and especially Black women in cinema and TV. I didn't want her to just be that. And the things that she comes with, if you are that singularly as a woman, beautiful, this woman in particular, by fact, actually wasn't that. She wasn't just a mother or just a band member or just a lovely human being, someone who, stuck by her husband's side. She is so many things, and so incredibly powerful, and so incredibly poised and regal, and knows herself. I needed that to all be in there as an artist, lending my name and my voice to this experience and to this, once in a lifetime biopic that everyone's going to see for the first time. I just wanted it to be right. And I didn't know what right meant. I just knew that I would feel it when I got there. It did feel right. So we got there.
Well, it felt right to us as well. And you did an amazing job, as always, in every role that you take on. Thank you so much for your time, and congratulations on the success of the film. You guys deserve it.